What's up, guys? Bullvot the Fell-Handed here, bringing you The Way of the Derp, Part 11. Here we are on Northwest. The greens have spawned on the Southwest spawn. The reds have spawned on the Northeast spawn. The idea here in this game is to shoot up the one line, or as fast as a KV2 can shoot up the one line, and kind of do a hook over there, run down the A straight towards their cap. There seems to always be a plethora of guys up on the hills there to shoot at. And, you know, the idea here is we want to get in close. We want to, you know, get some shots in early. And we don't really want to take damage, which, you know, should be your mantra for every single tank in the game. We have to be cautious, though, because if you get caught out in this tank, you will get utterly annihilated. Let's not even talk about the TDs. However, we are high tier in this lobby, so that's, you know, we have that going for us. We do, however, need to take advantage of that. We don't necessarily need to start throwing our weight around early on in the game. We want to do that mid to late game, and the reason for that is you want to have a full health pool ideally by the time you get to that stage in the game, so you can throw your weight around, because you don't want to go in there assuming your armor is going to block any shots. You don't want to go in there being a one shot, being like, oh yeah, sure, my armor can take it, the second you think that it will fail you. And this is why most of the time I preach tanks with no armor, because if you don't have any armor and you do pull a bounce, you're like, hey, that was pretty awesome. You don't want to be in an E100 being like, oh, you know what, I've got this, and you get decorated. So you have to be extremely cautious, because sometimes your armor will be a traitor to you. We're going to try a long range derp right here, and we managed to connect. That was a Hail Mary. That was all that is. That was a Hail Mary derp. No one else said it, so I'm going to say it. It was a great shot. That was a fantastic shot. We got a very dangerous tank off the board very soon in the game. And this is exactly what I wanted. If you watch the higher tier lobbies, this is where the Death Stars typically like to sit. And that's exactly what I'm doing. No one else said it, so I'm going to say it. Great shot. Actually, I said sorry. Sorry, not sorry. So, I'm essentially right now just waiting to see if they light anything else up. I gave it about 10-15 seconds. I'm not a patient man. So, nothing really happened. So, I'm going to move up here and see if I can't get some more shots in. Got a guy here posted up. It looks like he's taking some rounds. We're going to see if we can't go ahead and give him the derp. And he disappears off of our screen there. So, you know, not a lot going on, so we are going to move in a position here, preferably without damaging the tank. There we are. Need to be very careful going down some of those hills, especially on the new map Scorpion Pass, because, you know, some of those flat rocks you end up sliding down, you hit them, you know, they will take a quarter to a third of your health. And, you know, if you're in a certain point of the game, that can really be a game changer. So you always have to be cautious when going down hills. Now, I saw some guys over here earlier. I'm going to attempt to get in this area, move up, and see if I can engage them, because I feel that a KV2 over here would really, you know, help us in our cause to win this side of the board. Actually, I mean, if you look at the top of the screen there, we don't really need a whole lot of help, because we are winning currently. We're doing very well as a team. We're doing okay. Have a guy here, it looks like he was trying to do a little QB sneak on our cap. We're going to see if we can't go behind him here and derp the mess out of him. Now, this is one of those situations, if you have time, take time. I had a good shot. I wanted a complete 90 on his rear end there. Looks like I'm not going to get it. He started to angle up there right at the end. I was scoping him. I don't think he even knew I was back there. Mini-map people, what are you going to do? Churchill, very dangerous tank in close quarters. As soon as he saw me, he probably loaded hatchets, or he's got top gun. We're going to try to derp him right in the side. Try to derp him. Had a little bit of trigger lag there. Ended up catching him right in the back. I'm actually very fortunate I was able to hit him at all. He is just annihilating me right here with this gun. There's not a lot I can do about it except lay here and take it. I'm not crazy about it. I need to get rid of him before he kills me, and somehow I do. Churchills are extremely dangerous if they get close to this tank, because they will just DPM you non-stop. And you know, the KV-2 having relatively soft armor facilitates that for them very easily. They can go through your armor very good, they can go through it, and they can pin you every single time, more or less. And you know, it's different what it says this tank has on paper. This is why I always recommend going to Armor Inspector, because Armor Inspector will give you, you know, what your armor is at a certain angle. You know, it may already be angled on the tank, so on and so forth, versus, you know, people using the one in the garage. Never use that one, because it doesn't take any account. Excuse me, doesn't take any angling into account. So I managed to have the elevation here to shoot this guy. I went ahead and derped him. Didn't do an incredible lot of damage. I was really hoping for a one-shot. Of course, I think in this tank, whenever you do shoot someone, you are always hoping for a one-shot. Didn't really pull it off here. I'm trying to back out a little bit. I'm kind of afraid this guy's going to come around the corner. I'm going to go ahead and set the derp up, see if I can't get a good shot. He goes ahead and fires a wild shot, misses, and he is most likely going to kill me. There's not really a lot of time for me to get out of here, so I just start rocking back and forth, micro movements, so on and so forth, and he just finishes me off. And, you know, sometimes you're going to have that where, you know you're going to die. But guys, never just sit there. Never make it easy on them. You never want to give anyone a freebie. You always want to do whatever it is in your power to make sure they don't connect with you. And that's what I'm looking for. That's what you want to do. I mean, just anything you can do. And the rocking, I mean, you know, he probably loaded a hatchet or high X or whatever. Probably a premium round to go through me. And, you know, sure, they can do that, but you don't want to make it easy on them, because what I was looking for is if he managed to pull a bounce, give me those few extra seconds to load the gun, it would have been a different story. So, yeah, you know, you're not always going to win. You're not always going to be on top. That is the definition of World of Tanks. Sometimes you're going to do well, sometimes you're not going to do well. Sometimes you're going to do well and die, like in this particular situation. So it just depends on how RNG treats you. If RNG is particularly mean to you that game, then you're not going to do so hot. And that happens to all of us. Everyone's going to have bad games. And that's, you know, more or less the definition of World of Tanks. Everyone's going to have bad games. Everyone's going to have good games. So we did 2s across the board. 2,222 damage. Guys, thank you for watching.